Welcome back to our training to continue the TerraMax staffing training, how to create the PTOT note using cancer documentation. So here we are on the functional assessment. So here we have the bed mobility transfer, gait, wheelchair mobility, weight balance questionnaire, and there's a weight bearing. So all of this, what we're expecting from the therapist is to fill out this assessed level, either NT, NA, NT not tested, NA not applicable, or whatever here that you can put here. Don't leave this one blank, because if you leave it blank, the TerraMax quality assurance department will return this to you. Next one is the assistive device. If you don't fill this out here, TerraMax will not return it to you. But I will recommend you to fill out the assistive device, so for us to know if what's going on with the patient. But as a therapist doing the evaluation, we respect if you don't put here, it means that there is no assistive device. Okay, so another one, if the patient is needing in the assist level, it shows it's needing an assistant. So either the patient is under dependent, max assist, mod assist, min assist, contact guard, standby assist, supervision. If this is the answer of you here, we are expecting an answer here: factors contributing to functional impairment, because you are showing here that the patient has a functional impairment. Okay, so if ever you don't fill out here, then we will be returning your note. The same that goes without saying in here too, in here, and in here. The next one is for the gait. On the distance, make sure you only put the numbers. If you put feet, cancer will not gonna you cannot save your note. Automatically when you put 15, it means it's feet, so only put 15 and don't put the FT. Okay, and also here the same thing, if you don't put here, so the device, but I said a while ago, we will not return. So the 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 weight bearing status, this needs to be filled out, either full weight bearing, FWB, weight bearing as tolerated, WBAT, tip 2, 25%, whatever. You need to ask the patient and check the chart too. But the best way is, especially for the patient that has a total knee replacement or any a surgery of the lower extremity, you need to ask them for the discharge paper, because they have it. And also before they go home from surgery, they usually have a physical therapy there, and so they know if what's the weight bearing status. If you are not sure, you can put it unknown, put here unknown, and then we'll verify agency if ever you don't know, and then you need to call the home health agency and verify that. Or you can ask the patient also to call the doctor, so when you come back when the therapist is doing the treatment, then they know and we can update the chart. Okay, so the balance here, if ever you don't check this, we will not return your note, because if you don't check this, it just means that the patient cannot assume midline, cannot maintain midline. It doesn't mean if you didn't check this, you miss it. Okay, so it's important for you to really check this if needed, or else we assume that the patient cannot assume midline or cannot maintain midline. Now, if you check one of this, we need to know which one. Either you can, if you check one of here, at least one, you need to bring the to drop down one of this. Okay, so but at the same time, you cannot drop down standing if you don't drop down sitting, because if the patient cannot sit, how can the patient can maintain standing? It goes without saying, functional levels. So if you answer here, at least you can put on the sitting. You don't need to put here if not needed. Again, you're a physical therapist, you're a therapist, so you better know than the back office. But again, if you check, then you need to have one. If you don't check anything, they will not return your note, because it means that the patient cannot do it. Here, on the fall risk and other testing, if ever you cannot do the balance, put an A. If you miss the rest, the office will not return to you the note. So let me see first. Just check if we missed something. Here on the balance, we usually use the single leg stance. So if ever you don't know what to use, we TerraMax prefer to use, but again, it's your decision. But most of the therapists I noticed they've been using it, and why I mention it is because if most of the therapists using this one, if ever you did the evaluation and someone's going to be doing their evaluation, then they need to test the result again on the evaluation. So if ever you're using a tag and no one is, for example, they're using Tinity and no one is using it, then the next therapist cannot do the follow-up result. So it's better to use single leg stance if you are familiar with this and also you're comfortable. So the next therapist, there is a higher probability for the next therapist to be able to follow up the result. Okay. If it's not applicable, just put in A. But again, if this none, we will not return your note. So this ends the training on the functional assessment. Thank you very much again.